If you need any of the tools seen in this video, I've linked them in the description. Welcome to how to change your brakes like a pro. As we all know, eventually the time will come where you're going to need to change your brake pads on your hyperscooter. Most scooters these days come with hydraulic brakes. The procedure is very similar. Today we're going to use my VSET 11 Plus Super 72 to demonstrate with the Nutt brakes. First, you will remove the two bolts and take your caliper off. Remove the cotter pin. And slide this out. These pads have been through maybe 600 miles right now at this point. The scooter's around 2,500 total. So we're several changes in on this, and you can see they're right on the money. They are toast. It's time for a change. We're going to change that. We're going to change the rotors today. Demonstrate how easy this is. Take our 21mm axle nut and remove those from both sides. Not completely, we're just going to loosen them to start. Then you're going to free up your motor wire. If yours is stock still, it's going to have a little bracket you need to unscrew and remove. I prefer these cable ties. It's way easier the next time going forward. If you want to use those, it's better in my opinion. Next, you're going to get a bucket or a cooler or something to be able to set your motor off when you take it off, because we're not going to be disconnecting the wire, so you need somewhere to support the weight of the wire. Each side's going to have one lock washer. You're going to take those off, then slowly, carefully take your motor down. It's very easy to do this if you have a separate thing to set it on like this, because it's heavy. It's a very heavy motor, very heavy scooter. You're going to want to make sure you pay attention to the washers on each side of your scooter. Every scooter is different, and put them back exactly how they were. Now next, it helps to lower if you have a jack to get your motor wire so nothing is stretching and everything's laying flat, right? And then we're going to work on this rotor right here. There's 6 rotor bolts. I've already replaced these with titanium bolts, so I can use a drill. If you guys go ahead and do that, it's like 10 bucks, 20 bucks, totally worth it. Saves you time, and you will never strip one again if they're titanium. So that's the whole point of that. You can quickly swap your rotors out just like this. If you guys are looking for good rotors, these are the best you can get, the Magura MDR-C. I found they last like 2 or 3 times as long as the stock rotors, which really makes a big difference in the amount of maintenance you do on this type of scooter. The Super just eats through these front rotors, or the stock ones for sure are just not very good quality. I think when you put something better quality on like this, it definitely upgrades your braking overall and longevity and your overall stopping power. These definitely have more cooling than the stock rotors as well. Reassemble is going to be directly the opposite of what we did before. Put our washers back on. Pump our scooter back up a little bit to make room. This is why if you have a jack, it makes this really easy. You can line it all up without having to hold heavy things. Inch the jack down a little bit at a time so it all slides in nice and easy. And then we can put our lock washers back on and our axle nuts. If you have these crash protectors, is what these are, that they will help protect your lug nuts in an event that you lay it down. We're going to crank all of this down, tighten it up. What's left is to put our brake back on. See our motor, everything looks nice. Get your new brake pads out. Cut the cable tie. I like to clean the caliper here just with brake clean. You spray it off. Very, very dirty on these scooters from these brake pads. A lot of brake dust, and it's really the best time to clean it off every time you do the brake job. Get an extra paper towel or two and make sure you get this clean as you can. It's very important. Slide your pads back in, and then we're going to put our cotter pin back in. Bend that back over. Now we're going to use this tool to separate the brake pads. Between the brake pads, there's a big enough gap then when you install it on the new rotor that everything's going to fit nicely and you're going to be able to center it well. If you don't do this, it's just hard to fit everything on. Get your caliper on there and screw it all down almost all the way. And then we're going to take our gap setting tool, slide that in between the pads on the rotor, and what that does is centers the caliper completely in the middle and also sets your pads to the right distance. Tighten down while we hold our brakes, and that will center it. and boom, you're pretty much done with this scooter here. One thing you will know if you use tires like I have here that are extra wide, they're wider than stock, you may have to file down the edge of your brake pads. Just to get another millimeter or two of clearance is all it will take, but that's going to make the difference to allow you to ride with the extra wide tires, especially these 90 and 110 millimeter PMTs that are coming out that are very, very nice. It's nice having the wide tires, so if you want them, you got to do a little extra like this.
Final step, make sure your motor wire is secure.